A warm welcome back to the Forensic Detailing channel. Do not forget to subscribe. So a video on the ultimate garage setup for storage of chemicals if you're really into your detailing. Sorry. So if you followed the channel, you probably know about, I think probably about 5 years ago, I invested, and it literally was an investment because of the price, in these 5 litre Burkle jerry cans with compact spigot options. And they come from a lab company. They're not really detailing. So the only place I could find that sell these were a company called Lab Unlimited. These were expensive. I mean, all in, I think these were about 35 quid or something back in the day when I shot a video on them. Now I think they're over 40 euros for a 5 litre jerry can with compact spigot option. I had 8 of them. One of them failed because I put some solvent in it or something. I don't know what it was. It might have been a tar and glue or some sort of hydrocarbon that it might not be suitable for. And it expanded it. I could see it had like grown. And that one did fail and started leaking at the seal where it had, I think, damaged the plastic. So I store water-based chemicals in them, you know, alkalines, water-based acids. It does, oh, don't quote me on any of this, but it does tell you like what you can store in these. They're HDPE, I think, to my knowledge. This is an informal video, but I just don't want to misrepresent the product. But there's good information, it's in German. There's good information, I think, on what you can store on their website with them and what they're made of and all that sort of stuff and the seals and all that sort of stuff, because I remember researching it at the time. But generally store water-based chemicals. Yeah, it's suitable for dispensing non-crystallizing liquids without solid from canisters. Yeah, I don't think it likes strong hydrocarbons, though, in my opinion. I could be wrong on that. So, water-based products. You said that. Now, up here, this is the purpose of the video. I always wanted the Big Daddy, the 10 litre one. Not really for these chemicals, because 10 litres is probably a little bit too much for me, although thinking about it, it's actually quite cool. I wanted that for DI water. This one is 57 euros for the 10 litre and the compact spigot, which I always felt was too expensive, so I never bought them. So what I do is all the stuff that's too expensive that I refuse to buy, I put on a little list, and maybe when it's my birthday or something like this. Oh no, I know it's not good. It's not good to say that. Get someone else to buy it for you. But no, it's a great little birthday present for like a family member, because obviously, you know, it's either that or a pair of pants or something. So this one I got for my birthday, basically. Now, I'm going to use it for DI water, and 10 litres of DI water will last me quite a long time, and I use that for certain things, mixing out detail sprays or concentrates. I'd mix out Surfex HD with it because it makes it less prone to calcification, and you just generally need DI water for stuff in your garage. What else? When you're setting these up, you just screw that on with the seal that comes with the spigot, not the little seal that's sellotaped on the top. That's from experience. Don't over torque it. So when you put this on, don't go nuts with it. Just torque it till it's tight, and then it stays closed and it has a release, which this one's a little bit stiffer than the ones I've got there, but they've been used more. And then you kind of close it. I think someone mentioned they do elite caps. So when you pour these, you have to release this so that air can get in, and it can, or else it will just glug because it's, you know, like a vacuum. So they do elite valves, but you could just poke a hole in there as well if you wanted to. But I tend to leave them loose, and then when I'm filling, I'll just do a quarter turn and then fill. But that is a little bit annoying. I'm just not going to pay any more money for sort of valved things, but you've got an option of doing that. You could explore. Someone may well have done it. Now, I haven't used this one yet, so let's just fill this up, and you can, and let's just see if we get any leaks. So I haven't had any leaks other than that one that I damaged and threw away. I haven't had any problems with any of these. They've been reliable and robust, and that's one of the reassurances of perhaps having a more expensive thing. There are also probably cheaper options as well. Like you could buy, I know Sonax sell jerry cans with like taps on them and stuff that are a lot cheaper. Let me just fill this up while we're talking. So most people, the feedback when I'm talking about these products was most people ask me about them because they see them and they think they're really nice, and then when I tell them the price they go, holy cow, and no one buys them because they're too expensive. And I don't think that's, it's certainly not the distributor. I think it's just the manufacturer. You know, that's what they charge, and because of that they won't really be able to sell it, loads of it, to this particular market. So they're limited more to the lab market where they've got bigger budgets and they'll pay all that thing. So what am I doing here? Jet, that will do. So let's just put some water in there. We'll see if that's all right. I don't know if you can hear me, but it's also got a scale on it, so you've got a rough idea of how much you've got, which is quite useful. It's also the fact that it's all squared off and it fits perfectly in my shelf, which was really important to me. The form of it was really good. I could put 8 of them across in one go, but it puts so much weight on the shelf. Can you see that? Yeah, it puts so much weight on the shelf if you've got all of them there. It started bending the shelves. So I've separated them and put them near the edge where there's less weight if they're in the middle. But I thought it was lovely form to just have 8 of those stacked across there. That was really elite. And then when you're filling up your chemicals, you could pre-mix your snow foam out in one of these. 10-litre one would be really good for that. You could pre-mix it all out so you haven't got to keep dosing your snow foam out and it's slowing you down. You just go to wash your car and you load up your snow foam and you close it, which seemed like a really good advantage. I'm sniffing again, sorry. That's horrible. If you're watching a video and someone's sniffing all the time, let's just get this out of the way. So I'm just going to de-sniff. Okay, there we go, done. Oh, what a relief. So here's one of the problems with them. When they sit loose on the shelf and you want to go and use the tap, it wiggles around because the tap's a little bit too stiff. So you kind of go to use it, you kind of go to fill it and you do that and it rotates because it's locked. So, and you've got something in one end and you need the other thing for the other end. So you sometimes find yourself doing that. But generally speaking, the form is really good and they're not prone to leaking. Yeah, I've got a bit of drip there from the tap, but that's just because it's wet. But it's not going to leak, you know, it's not dripping as such. So these for me are really good tools. They're really good, whatever they are, storage things. And it is, the summary is that I think, I just mentioned it before, that I think the manufacturer is missing out and actually missing out on potentially a huge domestic market, or huge, but a domestic market, a demand for this. People would love this. I've got cheap, these are 25 quid shelves. They slot in there perfectly. And these are really good because it's just cheap and it's easy to access. And loads of people would have these shelves in their garage and loads of people would have these and they'd sell a ton of them. What should they sell at? Well, so we know this is whatever, over 50 euros, whatever it is. Was it 57 euros? Whatever I said earlier on. Go and have a look on the Lab Unlimited site. You'll find the exact prices. And there's a larger spigot as well, but the compact ones I think are the ones to go for. They just look better. What is this worth to you as a consumer? And I look at it and think, yeah, okay, it's really nice quality, you know, really, really heavy set. You know, it's nice, but it is ultimately plastic and a plastic spigot. I think the spigots sell separately for, it's either £9.99 or £19.99. But I look at this and I think, my head says that HDP container on its own, 10 litres, should be about £10 to £15. And the tap should be about £5. And this should retail at £20 to £25. And then someone will buy it. And I just think, I'm just talking roughly here. And I just think when you retail it up you know, at those sort of £50 or north of £40, I think you lose 99% of this domestic market at home. You don't sell much product. You might sell a few to labs, but it's got to be a very small market, and you don't make much money. So I just think it's an example of a really great product that there's a market for out there, but it's never going to happen. So it would just be a couple of guys that watch this that go and buy them, that because they'll just bite the bullet and buy them. So I think 35 times 10. So I spent in excess of 250 quid to get all of those, and then that one was a birthday present. But there's over 300 quid's worth of containers there, which is too much. Some of the stuff, you know what I'm like, I can be a bit of a cheapskate with all of my stuff, but some stuff that I think lasts for life, I'll bite the bullet on, because if I had to put other jerry cans in there that aren't so compact like that and all slotted, I would only get 2 or 3 in there, like if they were the normal 5 litre things, and it would just look horrible. So if I went and bought the cheapest ones I could find, and you can't just buy water containers with jerry taps on them, they won't take the alkalines. They need to be designed to hold this as well. So I get that a lot when I talked about these before. People are like, oh, you can go on Amazon or eBay and get like, or other online stores, and you can get like a water carrier there. Look, it's $3.99. It's got a spigot on it. Yeah, but it's just for water, and it's thinner because it doesn't have the chemical load, doesn't have the same qualities as HDPE or whatever it's made from. You know, it's not lab grade. So just before you say that, just be aware this is a lab grade stuff, but it's not like, you know, titanium or anything. You could even go higher quality than this with these spigots. But yeah, it's an example of a market that's going to be lost because of that. But I figured if I went and got a cheap option of something that was suitable for chemicals, they might be like a 10 or 15 quid each. By the time I've got 8 or 9 of them, I'll be at 150 quid. So instead I'm at like 300 quid, but long term, the difference in money isn't really that much. So maybe that's how other people do the maths and go and buy them. You can see I've got those really nice. I'm going to have a little tidy up, and I'm going to clean all these and wipe it down because it's all been through a winter, and just reorder it maybe and think about how I can do it. Might even reinforce the shelf so I can put them all back on one rack. You can see I've got the IK pumpers doodahs, which are okay. That red autoglym one's bugging me though. The colour difference is playing havoc with me. And you can see I've invested in like all the IK sprayers along here, which I just thought was a nice touch. And they've been okay. Haven't had any failures of those. We've got the ones for hydrocarbons there. And you can see, for those that are asking, these shelves come from a kitchen company called Display Pro. And I bought loads of them because they were cheap, but they didn't fit these. And so I had these lower shelves are different to these two. These are wider, so they can fit the IKs. And I think they've changed their stock dimensions and made them all a bit wider, I think. And I wonder if that's because loads of people were all asking for custom ones that were about an extra millimetre long, because I was talking about these years ago, so they probably thought we need to make these a bit wider. Don't know, or they might have just made them a bit wider, but it just dawned on me. So check your measurements if you're going to use them with IKs to make sure they go in. But these have been good quality as well. Brushed stainless steel, not all corroded. I do get some chemical corrosion in there, like if you know, like a little bit of stuff from the chemicals, but that all comes out. It's not in the actual metal, you know, the metal's not corroding. So they've been really good as well, and very cheap. They were, I don't know, was it 30 quid a shelf or something? I don't know, maybe even less. Yeah, and good quality. You can see like the brushed finish on them. So this whole garage has been done on a shoestring. These are all wicks carcasses that I reused, ripped them all out when they were from there and repositioned them all, because it all gets hammered. It gets hammered and it gets chemicals on them. So yeah, the flooring's no good. You know, if I could do it all again, I'd go with a tiled floor, I think, or some sort of membrane, like a vinyl membrane like they have in hospitals that curves up the edges so all the water just runs out. Or I'd go with a high quality tile, I think, you know, like Italian style flat tile. But you can see why I don't go too high on the quality, because you know, when you're working on cars, these get scratched to bits. I've done something careless there. That looks like a, I don't know what bottle that is, but that's done something and burnt the sort of plastic on there. And that happens when you're not focusing. You know, you're focusing on the job at hand and you're doing loads of things and putting tools down and stuff. And these all get banged up and these get all dirty. And so, yeah, it just needs to be a bit rough around the edges of this garage. Everything's a bit cheap and cheerful, but I kind of like it that way. It works for me. I keep it tidy. I try not to keep the cupboards full. I keep my tools organised. I made that myself. I'm quite proud of that. It hasn't fallen to bits. I made another one myself because I had so many polishers. And yeah, these are good. These are good. Man, I made these. These are good. They're not too. I didn't do too much designing with those. I did it all just mainly by eye and a little bit of paper. And I went and got the steel from Roger up the road, KT Fabrications. If I remember correctly, he cut them for me, and I don't think he charged me anything, or he didn't charge me much. Whatever he did, he might have charged me for the steel, but not for cutting them. I don't know. I got a little rim things to put over them, just so it doesn't damage the polishers. Yeah, so you can do quite a lot in your garage and get it how you like it. I've got my little fridge there, or my little cooler, chiller, constant temperature maintainer for the waxes, and I've got my little bog roll holder there. Having that elephant roll there has been a game changer for me. I go through it like crazy. So that's just how I keep all my tools organised in the garage. And I have these as well. These things were from B&Q or Wilco. You know, they're 4-drawer, but they're modular, so you can pop them apart and change them. If you remember, I had them up to here at one stage, and I got less of them now because it just dominates your garage. And they're not particularly nice looking things, you know, or whatever, but they're very practical and very good and easy to clean out. And you can, if you get all dirt in them and dusting and polish them, you can take everything out, jet wash them all, put them all back together. Yeah, so that's it. I've still got that stool from Slim's. That's still going good. I did break the foot on that. The bolt came out, but I got the bolt back on and I threaded the bolt, but I managed to epoxy the bolt back on, and it seems to be holding. So that's been a good tool as well, and that wasn't expensive. So yeah, there we go, guys. But this whole video was about the Burkle 10 litre jerry can. Oh, was that a drip? Oh, it's leaking. It's leaking. So this was what I wanted to test. So it's just dripping out the seal there. Look, it's just dripping out the seal. So let me just do this. It's good. This is what the sort of stuff I want to. This is why I want to check it. Yeah, okay. I think it just needed a bit of tightening. So you can tighten it. I'm just very cautious of over tightening it too much. I think that stopped it, but we'll keep an eye on that, because if that leaks under normal conditions, that's going back. But no, that looks like it's not leaking now. It was only kind of finger tight. Now it's got a little bit of torque on it. Yeah, it's the little details, because you don't want that the next time you go and use it. You know, you're going to torque on it. So this is part of the reason that these really do need to be secured in. That's just residual water. If you have all of them in a row like that, they can't move. They're locked in, so that when you turn the tap, it doesn't twist. I know it sounds really petty, but it frustrates me. And I've spent all this money, so I want everything to function well. So I just want to make sure when you turn that, yeah, you're not torquing. That doesn't move, because if that moves at all, then you could develop a weep. Developing a weep is a showstopper, because it will weep and you won't know about it, and you'll come back in and you'll have drained 10 litres of water. Isn't too bad, but it could be 10 litres of some other chemical all over your floor. So you must check it. And actually, let me just check that, because there's a little weep there. You can see that little drip. Is that, yeah, no, that has got a tiny weep. So let me just investigate this while you're here. You can put some PTFE tape on it. Let me just monitor that. very closely with my little eyeballs, you know. If that's going to weep, it will just start building up there, and then eventually you'll get a little bubble forming. I think it's very slow, so maybe a little bit more of a turn, and I think I'll be all right. But this is like a test run, yeah, so it's just, oh no, maybe not. I think I'm nearly there. Let me just have a look at this. Yeah, there's still a tiny weep there. Okay. Should get it. I remember this when I first bought these. So that should hopefully stop. I just got to monitor, keep my eyeballs peeled on that bit to make sure it doesn't drip. If it does, well, I can probably fix it. I vaguely remember playing around with all of these and just making sure they were all tightened to the point where they weren't dripping. And I can't say for certain, but I may have wrapped a bit of PTFE tape around one or two of these, but I don't know. I've never had these spigots off. They've never had to come back off, and I've never had a problem. But you do just have to make sure. Yeah, look. That's interesting, that is. I'll put in the comments what happens with that, but I'm just probably going to just talk it a bit more, or have a look. I could take it off and it's got a little seal in there. I'm just wondering actually, because you've got two seals. You had in the compact spigot comes a really tough seal, like a plastic seal that is the one I think you're supposed to use. And then sellotaped on top is this like polystyrene seal that was on here, because that doesn't officially come with it. I'm just wondering, venting valve, PE foam gasket. Where does that foam gasket go? Do you have to actually use that? Check the transparent LDP seal for position. Remove transparent LDP seal with softer foam gasket. White. Oh, there we go. Oh, so here, yeah. This is kind of troubleshooting. Thread connection is not sealed. Check transparent LDP seal for position. Replace LDPE seal with softer PE foam gasket, which is this one. So that, maybe I did this before because I don't have a whole pile of these white seals. So let's just roll with this while we're here, because this is what it's all about. Let's roll with it. Interesting. Yeah, this will be water. So there's that LDPE seal in there. So if we take that out, yeah, it's probably a seal problem. Well, it is a seal problem. We'll put in the softer seal. It does feel like that's going to seal better. Although it's not quite in there properly. Yeah, that seal was very hard and very thin. Just got to align that. Oh yeah, okay, so it's pushing the seal up. Don't want to go too hard. So that's maybe enough. Let's try that. I would imagine, just dry that off. I'd imagine that's done it, but so it's in there that I want to look. It looks better. Yeah, it looks better. So you could try the softer seal. I'll keep that hard seal in my little box of doodahs, metal polishing stuff, debadging tools. resins, all that stuff in there. That would have started, that would show me some water by now. So I think, there we go. So the manuals are already important. Replace with gasket. Thread is damaged, contact dealer or manufacturer. Close the plug more tightly. Stopcock is dripping. Close the plug more tightly. Oh, that means if it's dripping out of here, yeah, but that's okay. So I think we're okay there, guys. That looks bone dry to me. So there's a good little tip. Use the LDPE seal first. If that doesn't seal, then use the white seal. So I always wonder what that was for. Read the instructions. I'm going to keep these instructions for a little while. It's amazing. But if you don't read the instructions, I'll go through and have a little eyeball of them. If you don't read instructions, things could have gone wrong and I would have had a drip there. And potentially I might not have noticed it and then lost, not come back in the garage for a week and then lost all the chemical. So yeah, you definitely want to keep that. That looks good now. So there we go, guys. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts and I'll see you soon.